Hello and welcome back to Daily English Upgrade. Today we have a special story for you, a story about a young woman named Florence. Florence lived in a small village named Greenhill. Greenhill was a beautiful place with green fields and a calm river. But this river was also a problem, because it separated Florence's village from the town. People of Greenhill were farmers. They grew vegetables and fruits. The people of Riverton were artists and shopkeepers. They needed the fresh food from Greenhill. But the only way to cross the river was on a very old, very dangerous bridge. What would you do if you were in this situation? If you needed to sell your food to buy medicine or clothes, but you could not cross the river safely? This is the problem Florence faced every single day. This video is not just a story about a bridge. It is a story about community. It is a story about a simple idea that changed everything. And it is a perfect story for you to improve your English. I will use simple words and clear sentences. I will speak slowly. I will repeat important ideas, so you can understand the story and learn new words at the same time. Let us begin our story. Our story begins with Florence. Florence was a baker. She learned how to make bread from her grandmother. Every morning she woke up very early. She mixed flour, water, salt, and yeast. She baked the bread in a big, old oven. The smell of her fresh bread filled the small village. Everyone loved Florence's bread. But Florence was also very sad. She saw the problem of the old bridge. One day her friend Anna tried to cross the bridge with her bicycle. The bicycle carried baskets of apples. Anna wanted to sell the apples and a piece of the old bridge broke. Anna fell. She was not hurt badly, but all her apples fell into the river. She lost everything. Anna cried. Florence saw this and she felt a strong emotion. She knew she needed to do something. Florence did not have a lot of money. She was not a famous engineer. She was just a baker. But she had a good heart and a smart mind. She asked herself a very important question. What if I can help? What if I can build something new? She thought about her skills. What did she know how to do? She knew how to bring people together. Her bakery was a place where people talked and shared ideas. She decided to use this power. That evening, she did not bake bread. Instead, she wrote a small letter. She invited everyone from Greenhill to a meeting in her bakery. The next night the bakery was full of people. They were curious. Florence stood in front of them. Her hands were shaking a little, but her voice was strong. She said, "I am tired of watching our food fall into the river. I am tired of being afraid. We need a new bridge. We cannot wait for someone else to build it. We must build it ourselves." The people in the room were silent. Then an old man named Thomas spoke. "Florence, you are a good baker, but you are not a bridge builder. We are simple farmers. We do not know how to build a bridge. It is impossible." Many people agreed with Thomas. They said, "It is too difficult. We do not have money. We do not have time." Florence felt her hope become smaller, but she did not give up. She looked at her friends and said, "You are right. I do not know how to build a bridge, but I know how to bake bread, and I know that we are stronger when we work together. Let us think of a way." This was the first important lesson for Florence. When you face a big problem, you must start with a small idea. Her small idea was to ask for help. After the meeting, a young man named Leo came to Florence. Leo was a carpenter. He made tables and chairs from wood. He said to Florence, "I liked your words. I want to help. I do not know how to build a big bridge, but I know a lot about wood. Maybe we can learn how to do it together." Florence was very happy. This was the first step. The next day, Florence and Leo went to the river. They looked at the old bridge. They studied it. Leo drew pictures of the bridge in his notebook. They talked about strong designs. They realized they needed more information. They needed to learn about bridges. But how? They did not have books. They did not have the internet. So they decided to do the only thing they could do. They decided to travel to the next city, which was very far, to find a library. It was a long and tiring journey, but they were determined. After 2 days of walking, they arrived in the city. The library was a big, beautiful building. It was a little frightening. A friendly librarian saw them and asked, "Can I help you?" Florence said, "We need to learn how to build a small, strong bridge. Can you show us books about bridges?" The librarian smiled. She took them to a section with many books about engineering and construction. The books were complex. The words were difficult. Florence and Leo could not understand everything. They felt disappointed again. But then Florence saw a very old, simple book. The title was Basic Structures for Village People. She opened the book. The drawings were clear. The words were simple. This book was perfect for them. They sat on the floor of the library for many hours. They read the book together. They learned about foundations, about supports, about the strength of different shapes. They learned that a triangle is a very strong shape. They copied the most important drawings into Leo's notebook. When they returned to Greenhill, they had a plan. It was not a perfect plan, but it was a start. They called another meeting. This time, Florence and Leo stood together. They showed the people the drawings from the book. They explained the simple design for a new, strong wooden bridge. The people listened. They saw the clear drawings. They began to believe that it was possible. This was the second step. The idea was no longer just a dream. It was a drawing on a piece of paper. It was a plan. The people of Greenhill agreed to try. They decided to work together every Sunday. The first task was to gather materials. They needed strong wood. Leo knew about wood. He said they needed a special kind of tree, tall and straight. There was a forest near the village, but it belonged to the rich man who owned the land around Riverton. His name was Mr. Sterling. Florence and two farmers went to see Mr. Sterling. His house was very big and looked over the river. They felt nervous. Mr. Sterling met them in his large office. He listened to their story. Then he laughed. He said, "You, village people, you want to build a bridge. This is a funny idea. My engineers say a new bridge is too expensive. If professional engineers cannot do it, how can you?" He refused to give them any wood. He said, "The old bridge is good enough for farmers. Now please go." This was a big problem. No wood meant no bridge. The group returned to Greenhill feeling defeated. The excitement from the meeting disappeared. People started to say, "Thomas was right. It is impossible." Florence was very sad. She sat by the river and looked at the broken old bridge. She almost wanted to quit. But then she saw the children of the village. They were playing near the water. They could not cross to see their cousins in Riverton. They could not go to the better school on the other side. Florence knew she must continue. She must find another way. That night she had an idea. What if they did not need new wood? What if they could use something else? She remembered the book from the library. It talked about using local materials. What did Greenhill have a lot of? They had strong, long reeds growing by the river. They also had old, empty barrels from the farmers. She ran to Leo's house and told him her new idea. What if we build the base of the bridge from bundles of reeds, are strong and flexible, and we can use the empty barrels for flotation to help the bridge float on the water. It will not be a wooden bridge. It will be a different kind of bridge, a bridge made from what we have. Leo was quiet for a moment. He was thinking. Then his face lit up with a smile. "Florence, that is a brilliant idea. It is simple. It is cheap, and we can do it ourselves." The next morning they told the village about the new plan. The people were surprised. A bridge from reeds and barrels. It sounded strange. But they trusted Florence and Leo. They started to collect reeds. They tied them into very tight, thick bundles. They collected all the old barrels they could find. The work was hard. Their hands became, something beautiful happened. As they worked together, they started to sing. They told stories. They shared food. The project was no longer just about a bridge. It was about building a stronger community. Even the children helped. They carried small reeds. They brought water to the workers. Everyone had a job. Florence continued to bake bread for everyone. She used her own flour, her own money. She believed in the bridge. Weeks passed. The piles of reed bundles and barrels grew bigger. Finally, it was time to start building. They followed the drawings from the book, but they used their new materials. They built a strong foundation on the green hillside of the river. They connected the barrels to the base. Slowly, carefully, they started to build the bridge out over the water. Then one day a man from Riverton saw them. He was surprised. He went back to Riverton and told everyone, "The farmers in Greenhill are building a bridge from reeds. It looks crazy." The news reached Mr. Sterling. He came to the river to look. He watched from his side. He saw the simple village people working together. He saw the bridge growing longer each week. He did not say anything. He just watched. After a month of hard work, the bridge was half finished. It looked unusual, but it was strong. People could already walk further out over the water than before. They felt hopeful. But then a storm came. A big storm with strong wind and heavy rain. The river became wild. The water moved very fast. The whole village watched from their windows. They were afraid for their bridge. In the morning, the storm was over. Florence and Leo ran to the river. Their hearts were beating fast. What did they see? A part of the bridge was broken. The strong water had destroyed one section. Barrels were floating away. Reed bundles were broken. It was a terrible sight. Many people cried. All that hard work was gone. They felt like they had failed. The word impossible was in the air again. This was the darkest moment for Florence. She had let everyone down. Just as she was about to apologize to everyone, she saw something. She saw Mr. Sterling. He was walking across the old, dangerous bridge from Riverton. He never did that. He arrived in Greenhill and walked directly to Florence. The village was silent. What did he want? Was he coming to laugh at them? Mr. Sterling looked at the broken bridge. Then he looked at Florence. His face was not angry. It was respectful. He said, "I have been watching you. I saw your hard work. I saw your community. I saw you do not give up. I was wrong. You are not just farmers. You are builders. You have more courage and creativity than my engineers." He took a deep breath. "I will give you the wood. I will give you all the wood you need to finish your bridge properly. Let me help you fix this." The village could not believe it. Florence was so surprised she could not speak. She just nodded and smiled. It was a miracle. The next day, carts of strong, beautiful wood arrived from Mr. Sterling's forest. Now, with the right materials and their new knowledge, the real work could begin. With the strong wood, the work went faster. Leo used his carpentry skills to build a solid frame. The villagers worked together, cutting and shaping the wood. They followed the design from the book, using triangles for strength. The new bridge started to take shape over the river. It was beautiful and strong. Finally, after many weeks of work, the bridge was finished. It was a magnificent sight. A strong, wooden bridge connecting Greenhill and Riverton. The villagers stood on one side and the people from Riverton stood on the other. They were all waiting. Florence took the first step onto the new bridge. Her heart was full of emotion. She walked slowly to the middle. Then she turned and invited everyone to join her. The people from both villages cheered and walked onto the bridge together. They met in the middle. They shook hands. They hugged. It was a celebration. Anna, the farmer who lost her apples, was the first to cross with a new basket of fruits. She sold them in Riverton that very day. The children ran across to play with their friends. Florence brought a basket of her special bread and gave it to the people in Riverton. The bridge did more than cross a river. It connected two communities. It built new friendships. It created new opportunities for everyone. Florence, the baker, had done it. She saw a problem, she found a way, and she never gave up. Now, let us review some important words from our story. Community. This word means a group of people who live in the same area or who have a common interest. The people of Greenhill were a strong community. They worked together. Determination. This is a strong feeling that you will continue trying to do something, even when it is difficult. Florence showed great determination when she did not give up after the storm. Design. This is a plan or drawing that shows how something will be made. Leo and Florence used a simple design from a book to build the bridge. Local. This means belonging to or happening in a particular place. They used local materials, like reeds from the riverbank. Foundation. This is the solid base that supports a structure. They built a strong foundation for the bridge on the riverbank. Let us think about the lessons from Florence's story. Lesson 1. No one is too small to make a big change. Florence was just a baker, but she changed her entire world. You do not need to be a famous or important person to help your community. Lesson: start with what you have. Florence did not have wood, so she used reeds and barrels. When you have a problem, look at the resources you already have. Do not wait for the perfect situation. Lesson 3. Teamwork makes dreams work. Florence could not build the bridge alone. She needed Leo, the farmers, and even the children. When people work together, they can achieve amazing things. Lesson 4. Your biggest failures often come just before your biggest success. The storm destroyed the bridge, but that failure impressed Mr. Sterling. Do not be afraid of failure. It can be a step on the path to success. Lesson 5. Be kind to those who doubt you. Florence was always respectful to Mr. Sterling, even when he laughed at her. Kindness can sometimes change a person's heart. This story is not just about a bridge in a small village. It is about you. What is the river in your life? What is the problem that seems too big to cross? Maybe it is learning English. Maybe it is a personal goal. Remember Florence. She started with a simple question. What if I can help? You can start with a simple step too. Maybe your first step is to practice English for 10 minutes every day. That is your first read bundle. It is a small thing, but it is a start. Do not listen to the voice that says, it is impossible. Listen to the voice that says, let us try. You have more strength and creativity inside you than you think. If you enjoyed this story, if it helped you learn English, please do something for us. Subscribe to the Daily English Upgrade channel. Click the button below. When you subscribe, you join our community of learners. You help us to create more stories for you. Share your own stories in the comments. What problem would you like to solve in your community? Let us support each other. Thank you for watching and for learning with us. Your English journey is like building a bridge. Every word you learn is another strong piece of wood. Keep building, keep learning. We believe in you. Until next time, stay curious and keep upgrading your English. Goodbye.